Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world, this is the world of Wayne, and we have now got another issue of the Modelspace Build Your Own Thunderbird 2, episode 8. Episode 8, perhaps I should have said pack 8. Really excited for this one because we're actually going to be playing with the motors to make the thing go up and down, and we're also building the mole. I just want to get cracking on this because I can't wait to get started. Just so you know that the first stage we've got to put 2 rails in the vehicle, which is going to hide the sort of like the ratchets to make them not pop out. It's exactly the same on each side, so I've already done one and I'm going to do one on camera for you to see that now. But if you want to subscribe to this yourself and you've seen all my other videos and you thought I want that, then basically just go to your web browser and type that web address in there. You won't regret it because you also get 5% off each pack as they come if you use that code. And as far as I'm aware, this is pretty much available anywhere. So just try it out and see if that works. But without further ado, I want to get cracking on it. I'm so excited. Okay, so I've opened the pack up. We've got this little plastic guide here, and we've got all these screws here. But the first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting these springs into this unit here to basically follow on each section here, and I'm going to just explain how these are going to be working. Okay, so the first one we're going to put in, we're going to put these down following the stages here, and we're going to be putting the spring underneath that little cog there, so it's underneath there. We're going to be doing exactly the same on the other side. This is going to be basically stages 1 to 6. So once that's in, just pushing it down with my trusty screwdriver here, there we go. Once they're in, the springs, as you can see on the side camera there, are sitting now underneath. Let me just move this out of the way. Underneath that little cog there. Okay. The next bits we're going to be doing is we're actually going to be putting these little ratchets in to follow the design of the picture here. And as you can see, they're slightly off center. So when these are in, which I've just put in now, they're going to look just like that, mirroring the picture. Now let me while I've got it this way, because as you can see I've done the top one here already. We've got a switch on here, and the way this switch moves is when the motor starts going around, this little post here is going to eventually hit this switch here, and that's going to stop the actual motor running. On the other side, it's already touching this switch that we've got on this side. As you can see, this white part here is already touching the switch, and that tells it when to start going, because obviously it's not being stopped. So these switches here operate the start and stop mechanisms of the unit. I thought I'd just get that in now, because the next stage we're going to do, once I put this back in, and one of the actual stages is to make sure that this is back in, that little bit there. We're going to be putting the cover over it, and the cover just fits on the top like this. And then it's going to be secured in by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 screws. And the way they've done it in here is they started with this one back here. So we'll get that one in. As you can see, I've just whizzed through this stage because it is an easy stage, but I didn't want you to be subjected to me putting it through twice, because it's exactly the same thing. I said the only difference is that on the other side, the white little, I keep calling them ratchets. Someone perhaps tell me what they are. But the white, whatever they are, ratchets, I'll call them ratchets, is already touching the switch. On this side, on the left side, it's not. So that's just something to bear in mind. You know what? I'm changing my screwdriver. I'm not happy with that one. I think that one has seen its day as well. God, the amount of screwdrivers I've got through in the last couple of weeks is ridiculous. But that's going in perfect now. Now, what I don't want to happen, which I've seen in some other people's videos, is when we actually start this, because we are going to be testing this in a minute, I don't want it to be making grinding noises, which is why I'm making sure everything's in where it needs to be in, and there's nothing catching. Now I've already checked that on the other side, so let's just hope when we do the first test that this is going to be working absolutely perfectly. We've got, after this screw, 2 more screws to put in. One, oops. This one here. 2. And there's 1 more just to go in there. And then that's both sides done. God, I'm so excited to start this. And as I said, that's mirrored on the other side. So we've basically done all the way from steps 1 to step, oh God, all the way to step 32, that was. Obviously, I haven't done 32 things on the section there. Now the next stage is stage 47, which is to build the pod. We're not going to do that. We're going to start building the pod. I'm jumping forward because while I've got this here, I am going to start doing the test on it. So I'm just trying to find the one. This is the items that we need from the pod. So I have skipped forward. That is the first time I've done that. But someone did recommend I do this, I have to say. So I'm going to put all of that back because all I want is this little test board here. Okay. Right. The way it's going to be connected. Right. We've got. I'm just seeing what one it wants us to do. Okay. So step 7. They want us to use this little plastic bit here. Take the adhesive off, which I've already done. And they're going to want this going to be going out towards the right hand side of the vehicle. And the way they've got it, they've actually put a little clip in here. And the adhesive clip is just going behind this circular thing here. So I'm going to stick it in. And then show you what that looks like. It's going to look just like that on the right hand side of the vehicle. Because the next thing it wants me to do is it wants me to feed this cable through it here. So it's going to be coming through here and then clip in the cable underneath that clip. And this is all going to keep it in place. So once that's in, which again is a little fiddly bit, just like that. It's going to be in just like that. This again is going to be going out towards that vehicle there, but we'll keep that in that position there. Next thing he wants me to do is we've got the little circuit test board here. We're going to be putting that on top of, we've got the back bits here. It's going to be going on top of this unit here. And the way that's going to be going is probably best on the top camera to see this. It's going to be following these 3 pinholes here. So when we've got that in, sort of going to go on like that. And this is all going to be secured down with screws. So I'm just checking this pack to see if any screws come in it. I'm hoping they did. Yep, we've got absolutely loads of screws. So let's just tip all of that out and figure out all the bits we don't need. And then what screws we need. By the look of it, 3 screws I'm looking at is going to be these ones. It's these screws. Let me just show you in this pack just here. There's actually 4 they put in. They do like to put the extra screws in for me. So I'm very thankful about that. Okay, let's get this open. Get these screws out. And what we're doing now is we're going to be mounting the first circuit board to the vehicle. Now, I've already got batteries in my test board here. But we are going to be checking that this goes up and down. I think we've just got to line this up first. There we go. Once I've lined one up, I'm not putting them in all the way. I'll get them all in where they need to go first. And then we'll worry about the other bits in a second. So this is the second one. Perfect. It's already been set to the up position now. I've just noticed that on this. You may be able to see that on one of the cameras. On this, you've got the switch says up and down. So that's something that I can't wait to try. I'm just hoping it doesn't make a crunching noise when we do this. Okay, so putting these screws in was step 10 and 11, and then just tightening this down because we don't want this vibrating all over the place. Put the spare screw to one side. Right, then I'm going to bring over the test board because we're going to start connecting this up. I'm making sure it's in the off position. So the first thing it wants me to do is fit the motor cables connector into the socket marked motor. So this connector that we had before, the motor's cable connector, is going to be going into the socket that says motor. So this one here is going to be going in that point here, and I'm going to make sure I put it the right way around. That's going to go in just like that. That's the motor in. It says make sure it's fitted securely and its pegs engaged to hold it in place. That's not going to get in any better. It says now fit the upper limit switch to the socket marked up control. So the upper limit switch is, let's have a look, this one on this side here, because that's already up. That's going to be going into the slot that says, yep, the upper limit switch is going to go into this one here. So this is the lower limit one I'm putting in first. And that's in. The upper limit one goes on the other side, which is again labelled upper limit. So once I've plugged that in, I'm going to show you what that looks like. There you go, if you have a look at that. Upper limit on this side, lower limit on that side. Actually, just secure that so you can see that. That's perfect. Once we've got those two in, it says connect the battery box cable and the main switch cable to the sockets marked power and switch. So we've got the battery box and the switch. So we put, this is the switch here. We're going to put the switch in the switch one here, which goes in like that. Being very gentle when I put these in. And then the battery box, which is this one here, is going to be going into the other side, just over this side here. That's it, and that's everything connected. So I guess the next thing to do is to put batteries in it. Because I'm super prepared, I've already got batteries. I'm going to make sure that's in the off position, which it is. And we'll put the batteries in. So that's one. So I really thought we'd be using this test board, but I guess we're not. And last but not least, this one goes in this way. 3. I think that's everything in. I'm hoping. I'm going to secure that back down again. Right, so at the moment it's basically, I'm going to put the switch to down and turn it on and see what happens. It's already down, so I'm hoping that's the way it's meant to be. Let's turn it on to go up. Oh, the motors are working. Oh, and it's lovely and smooth as well. Look at that. I'm so excited by that. That is absolutely amazing. It's smooth. I'm going to make sure it stops on its own. I still need to straighten these feet out, which is something I'll do later. Oh, we've got a little bit of ratchet there. That's something I'm going to need to fix at the end. Okay, so I cut away then, and I had to play with the ratchets because they needed a little bit of adjusting. And I'm ready to go again. So here we go. We're in the down mode here. Let's press the button to go up. And here we go. Now, if you're getting a lot of popping noises when this happens and stuff like that, my advice to you would be to check those little pins that you slotted in, because they're acting a little bit like a buffer for it. But as you can hear, my one is quite quiet. There's no pop it or ratchet. So when it gets to the top, it should stop. Please stop. There we go, it stopped. That's excellent. Okay, when we put it down, as you can notice, you haven't got the green little tabs from these motors here, which hold the pod in, because obviously this is going to be going over another pod, ready to put it in. So when we put it back down again, this is so cool. When we put it back down again, it should stop when it gets to the bottom. And as you can see, these little green tabs are now coming out here, ready to pick up the pod, which is excellent. But by the look of it, there you go. That works an absolute treat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the power off now, because we're not going to need that. And as you can see, these hold in now, so the legs aren't going anywhere. I'm going to put that on the floor, because we now need to jump back in time, because I cheated and went forward in time to complete that, because we're going to be doing the pod 4 front hatch, and it says the leg test, but we've done that. We're going to start building the mole as well. So, okay. Stage 47, step 1, we're going to be taking this little piece here. Now, you guys missed this last time because I lost all of my footage, which isn't good. So, the good news is we get to do it now. So you can see exactly what I did before. So I'm just opening all of these packs up here. This is the pack we need, because we want the springs and the little hatch switch there. As you can see, you've got some little tiny things and some little tiny pins there as well. Okay, so the first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking this section here, putting it around this way, and we're going to be putting the little bracket on it, just like, oh, get in there. It's going to go in just like that. But we're going to have to put a pin in. Now, the pins go through the holes just on this side here. Now, they've used a little bit of a tweezers here, so I'm going to give that a go as well. What we do, you've got two sides of this. Let me just show you that on camera. Actually, you've got one which is a sort of like rough edge, and one which is smooth. It's the smooth edge you want to put in first, so, or the smooth end, sorry, not edge. So we'll get that in there. Oh, why are my hands shaking? They're probably shaking because I'm so excited about what we just did. Once the first one's in, you just push that all the way in, making sure it goes through both of these things. There we go. And then you push it all the way, just like that. And you need to do the same the other side. So make sure you put the right end in. I'll put this on my little thingies again. And feed that through. Don't quite know if you can see what I'm doing here. It's very fiddly, I have to say. Right, let's try that this way. Okay, that's the first bit in. I'm just going to make sure that goes through the second piece. Oops. Trying to get it through both is hard. I'm not cutting this though. I want you to see how hard it is. There we go. And that piece is in as well. And then you push it all the way in. Make sure, most importantly, that that pin is flush to this side. Otherwise, it's not going to sit into the pod correctly. So then, once you've done that, that's going to look just like that. And from the other side, just like that. Okay, so that was up to step 3 done. Step 4, we're going to be putting in the little door catch. That's going to fit in just on that section there. Just sits in there. Now, the way this sits in is with the... There's 2 ways round this can go, you see. You want it so that the hatch is flat and flush to the top of the unit there. It's got to be flush. If you put it in the other way, it's going to hang out a little bit, and that's something you really don't want. Then we're going to be fitting the this part here, the hatch front to the top. That's going to be secured with super glue. So I'm going to put some glue on these points here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and make sure you put the door around the right way. That's always good. So yeah, the way it's going to go around is basically, so when you've got this that way round, the 4 is going to be facing upwards to you. So let's put that on there. Just wanted to make sure that was lined up correctly then. There we go. And that's in. Absolutely lovely. Okay, the next thing we're going to be doing, just making sure that's not going to come out. Yeah, that's perfect. We're going to be putting some springs on. Now, the springs are going to be going on these little tiny lips here and one on the other side there. So when we got them on, it's going to look a little bit like earrings for it. Let's just show you what that looks like. So we got one on like that, and we'll put one on the other side. Oh, get in there. Just like that. There we go. Some hanging earrings. And basically that's that step done. That's that stage done. I'm going to put that to one side because the next thing he wants us to do is test the going up and down mechanism of the vehicle. But we know that works because we already jumped forward. So now we get to build them all. So first thing first, we've got 2 items here. We've got this section here. We've got the base section. We're going to be working with the top section first, namely these bits at the end. And it's going to want us to glue everything that we see in these parts to the beginning of the mold. So let's get those little bits out there. And the first piece it wants us to put in are these little round bits here. Now these can only go in one way. You've got a pin end and you've got one that will go in the hole there. So when these go in, I'm just going to push them in. They're going to look just like that on the end. There's 2 of these to put in. So I'm just going to see if they stay. They are really secure. I'm not gluing them. I said if they're secure, I'm not gluing them. But if yours aren't, then it does tell you to glue these things. So, but you know what? They're not coming out of there. That looks just like that. And that was step 1 done. Step 2, we've got another little tiny detail to put in, which are these details here. Detail C fits through the hole from the underside. So I'm just looking at, they're looking at this unit now. And it's going to be fitting through these 2, this hole that we've got just at the side here. This like slanting hole. Sorry, looking at the top end then. I'm just making sure we've got the right detail. The detail that they've got, yep, I'm holding the one that they've got. I'm just checking the other one. They look very similar, I have to say. They're not similar though. Detail C hasn't got as much stuff on that side. Let me just get it in my tweezer so you can see exactly what detail C looks like. See, from that side, there's not much detail on it. On the other one, there is on both sides. So it's detail C that we want. This is going to be fitting through the hole, and it's going to be fitting in this way. So once I put it through, I'm just going to do a dry test. That's going to be going in just like that. And you know what? That looks pretty cool. That's going to be going in just like that. That's it really tight for me. I'm wondering whether I should be putting glue on that bit as well. But we'll see. We're going to be putting the next detail in, which just goes into this slot just here. So we'll put that one in. And that looks just like that. I'm sure that when this marries up to the other part of the vehicle, that's going to be held in anyway. But they are really strongly in there. That's not moving anywhere. So that's that. They're done. Now we're going to be joining these 2 parts together. So they're going to be going this way round, just so you know. So you've got 2 little pins. And when they're in, it's going to look just like that. So what we've got to do is glue this together. So a bit of glue on there. That should be enough. Very sparing with the glue. Okay, and we'll get these in. Obviously making sure that it is the right way round. And you know that because the front of the vehicle is going to look just like that with all of those bits in there. And that's that bit done there. And the last stage is this little thing here that we've got is going to be going in with the thicker end down below. And it's going to be, we need to just turn it in that way and then turn it so it's actually just going to sit into the vehicle like that. It doesn't tell us what to do with that at the moment. We've just got to leave it just like it is at the moment. So slide the thicker end of the piston into the hole without glue, then rotate it by 90 degrees. So it's just sitting in there. It's very loose at the moment, but I'm sure that's going to be held in by something later on. That's stage complete. So that's the mole stage complete. We're going to be opening another pack now. So next pack, I'm just going to put that to one side, is, let's have a look, it's going to be the next hatch. So it's going to be this pack here. And all we're going to be doing is exactly like we did with the last hatch. So I'll open that up. And we get out 1, 2, oh look, we've got some parts here for the mole, which is the wheel parts, which, you know, those bits I'll just whiz through because we've done that so many times now. And once again, we're going to open this little goodie bag of goodies. I'm still hyped over seeing that thing going up and down. Normally, things don't go right first time for me, and as you saw, we had a little tiny error, which was easy to rectify. And as you saw, it's pretty impressive. So I'm just getting these little bits out now, because of course the hardest thing I have when I build is trying to get things out of a bag. Okay, and we're going to be doing exactly like we did last time. So basically we get this plate here and we're going to be putting in this little piece here, and it's going to go in this way round just like that. Once again, we're going to be putting a pin in with the not rough end going in first. So I'll put the first one in here. There you go, that's gone in. Making sure that that pin goes through all of these things, which it's having problems with at the moment. It doesn't want to go in all of them. It does now. And I've pushed that all the way through. So that's the first one in. We get the other pin in the other side here. So again, we're going to be putting it in with the smooth side going into the hole there. That's in. Now we just got to manipulate it so that the that goes in, and push that nice and hard. There we go. That's the second one in. Once again, we're going to be putting this little pin part in, making sure it's the right way round. Again, if you put it the wrong way round, it doesn't fit flush like that. So you have to spin it round. Once it's in, as you can see, that's nice and flush on there. Then we're going to be putting some glue on. So once again, I'll put some glue on these points here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll put this on the unit here. Oh, make sure it's the right way around, of course. Give that a push down. Oh. So that is going to look just like that there. Pretty cool. And then we go put the little earrings on these butts here. So we put one on there and one on the other side, just like so. And that is that stage complete. So once again, I can put that hash down here without losing anything off of it. Chuck me rubbish away, because we're going to be doing a little bit more work on the mole now. That was all the way up to step 11. So we're going to be building the wheels now. So I think I'm going to cut while I do this, but I'm going to take all of these off the sprue. Then I'm going to be putting them on the shafts just like that. So one shaft's going to have these, I think someone called them a sprocket or something like that. Sprocket end, sprocket track on one end, and I'm going to do the rest. So once I've done that, you'll see what that looks like, and we'll come back to the video.
A few moments later.
Okay, so basically we're up to the stage now where we're going to be putting these on the vehicle. So what we do is we put one side in of each one. Give it a good push down. 1, 2. Now the sprocket drive, is that what have I called it right? I hope so. 3 and 4. There's 4 sets of wheels here. Once they're like that, we're ready to put them on the vehicle. Now the sprocket drive ones are going to go to the back, which is this side of the vehicle here. So if that's the top, they're going to be going into the back one there. So we'll get the first one in, thread it through the hole there. Hopefully it will come out the other side, which we want it to. There we go, it comes out the other side. And then we put the other sprocket one on the back here. Push it down. Nice and tight. And then we just repeat that with all of them. As you can see, this thing's fallen out again. Let's put that back in. I don't think that's going to make a difference actually with the when the wheels are in and stuff. I don't know what holds that in at the moment, so we'll see that later. But we'll put these in. Come out the other side. Put a sprocket on that side. And basically we repeat this for all of them. Keeps falling out, that thing. I'll put it back in again in a minute. Whoops. That just almost went for a Burton. See that? It was a catapulting one. Looking good. And the last one, put that in. Just like that. Out the other side here. And then we'll put this in. Then what I tend to do is I just hold it on its side and I just give it a good push down to make sure they're in really, really secure. Then we're going to be putting the tracks on. Once again, the tracks just go on easy enough over this. Just like that. And then we'll do the other side and then I'll show you what that looks like. But before I do, I'm annoyed that the, there we go, and that's on perfectly. I'm annoyed that this keeps popping out, so I'm going to put that back in. And as you can see, if I put that along, that works absolutely perfectly, and show you the other side. There we go. That's that stage complete, so we're on the next stage. The next stage, we're going to start doing the floor of the pod. This is stage 49. So step 1, we need to just find what section we're going to be working from, which is this one here. There's the floor of the pod. Open this up and see what goodies we've got inside. So what they've gave us is the floor, just like that, and some more parts of more parts of the mole, and some screws. So we need these bits, and we can put the other bits to the side for now. First thing it wants me to do is these bits aren't secured together at the moment, as you can see. It wants me to secure these bits together. You've heard that beep in there. That's just my face camera, and I can reload that later. Not an issue. So we get these little screws out, because we're probably going to need them all. One more to get out. There we go. Perfect. And the first thing we're going to do, this is going to be 4 screws in 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's get these screwed in now. It's nice that you get to see now how we're building the pod, because I really, really was gutted that you never got to see this in stage 3. I think it was the one that the video decided to corrupt. But yeah, this is what we had to go through. Put the 3rd screw in. Excellent. 4th screw. There we go, and that's all those screws in, and that's the floor now completed. It's just letting you know that this, the fatter end, the wider end, sorry, is the front, and the narrower end there is the back, so that we can orientate this exactly as it needs to be. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be turning this over, and we're going to be using the bigger door, which is this one here. At the 2, as you can see, there is a size difference, just like that. You want the bigger one, and we're going to be laying this. The first hatch we're going to be putting is on this end here. You put it round this way. So that lies flush, and then you're going to be putting these little pinholes here on top of the stalks here. As a matter of fact, you just need to make sure that you've got this spring around the right way. If that's not sitting flat, it's because your spring's around the wrong way. So I'm just putting that around again. There we go. And then the spring will fit perfectly on there, just like so. Do the same for the other side. That spring there, I'm going to just put it on that pin at the back there, which is on. And once that's on, we're going to cover it with just one of these bits here. Just like so, oops, just like so, and we're going to secure these with the screws that come with it. What that enables us to do, I'll just let you know what the springs do in a second. Let me just get this secured and then I'll show you what they do. Obviously the bigger end, as you heard earlier, is going on the wider end there. So that's the first one on. What that enables us to do, as you can see, it gives it some give. So it can clear the outer pod wall. If you didn't have that, the door wouldn't close properly. So we're going to put the other one on this side, exactly the same as what we did last time. So that just goes in like that. Once again, we will move my screwdriver, because you don't want to be looking at that. And then we'll just put these pins over the little pegs here. That's the first one on. And that's the second one on. Once again, we're going to put this over the top here. Should fit absolutely flush. And then we're going to secure this with the 2 screws that I've got left here. So that's 1, nice and tight, and 2. So then when we turn this back over in a second, I've got another spare screw. That's all good, isn't it? So when we turn this back over, we've got 2 hatches. They're going to set up, and obviously the 4s on both sides are the right way round. So that's always a good sign. That's that part complete. That's that stage complete. Now we're going to be working a bit more on the mole. We need these bits here. I'm just going to put that right to the back there. We've got basically 5 bits here. They're going to want us to identify different bits. So you've got one which says R. There's an R on there. Can you see that right there? Let's get the light right. There's an R. And this one here's got an L. It's upside down L, but it's an L either way. So, okay, so what we're going to do, step 2, we've got the right-hand side one here. We're going to be gluing this guardrail. Basically, it's going to be sitting just on top like that. And it's got a little indent there for it to go in. So we need to put a little drop of glue just in here, because that's sort of where it's going to be held. Perfect. And then we'll get this bit in here. It's the way it goes. So just like that. To making sure this is perfectly flush and lying in the exact same position it should be. Just like that. So that's what the guardrail looks like from that side and from underneath. That's step 3 done. Now step 4, we've got a little detail. It says remove last stage's piston, which was, oh God, this thing here. It wanted us to keep it safe. And it's basically going to be going in just this hole here. The section that they're using the smaller end. So as you can see, you've got a thick end and a thin end. That sits in there quite nicely and snug. Look, it's not going to fall out if I turn it upside down. That was step 5. It is enough to fit it in this far. It doesn't need to be in far at all. So they've got it pulled out a little bit just like that. Okay, next stage, we're going to be putting the other side of the vehicle on. And that's basically going to be going, it says, now join the left side frame, glue the yellow arrow tabs, but not the pistons. So we've got some tabs just, oh God, when we glue these together, let's have a figure this one out. We've got some tabs just in here and here. That's the only bits that need glue. So I'm going to put one in there and one in there. Just like that. And then this is going to be secured to the other side of that plate that we saw before. So let's get these in. Hopefully it will fit in absolutely perfectly. Which is fiddly as hell, I'll tell you that now. Don't mind telling you. There we go. I'm going to have to hold this for a second, because this is going to take some time for the glue to dry. So that looks like that from the top. That from the bottom. And obviously we've got this other bit of the piston there, which has already gone through both sides there and there. I think it's probably going to tell us to make sure that that's happened. So once they're together, it says glue the gentry frame. We're using another section now. I'm just going to put that to one side. It says glue the gentry hinge here on the lower frame. So the way this is going to be going is facing, this is the lower frame here. It's got a section to go in just on this section here, and it's going to be, it's got a little pin sort of socket in here. That's going to be going away from it. So when we put this in, again, this can only fit in one way because the hole's slightly off center. It's going to look just like that. But what I'm going to do is just put a dab of glue just on this side here. This is quite an in-depth model, this mole, I have to say. Just like the IR3, but that's that little bit in just like that. Right, now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be joining this section to the section we just made. So what we need to do is coming up through the bottom of this unit, just like that. We're going to be putting this over this side like that. And then this is going to be attaching to the top of the vehicle. I'm just going to make sure this is absolutely round the right way. So the cockpit area we've got here should be by this section here. Yep, which is absolutely right. That's exactly as it's meant to look, just like that. So let me move my hand out of the way. It's going to look just like that. It says slide the piston through the main slot, which we have done in the lower frame, then rotate so the parts are in line with each other, which they are. It says press the parts together like this. So I'm going to press them together. It hasn't told me to glue it yet, so I'm guessing I'm probably going to have to do that, but we'll press the parts together and we'll see what it looks like. As a matter of fact, it's not going to need glue. That went together really tightly. As you can see, we've got looking like that. That looks pretty cool. I'm such a kid. Okay, we pressed the parts together, so now we're going to be offering this whole bit that we've made here to the main unit here. So the way this goes is with the actual lifters going still inside the vehicle, but it's going to be going that way round, and it's going to sort of like, we're going to be pushing the top down, so it's going to be fitting in just like that. Everything sort of slots in place. It says rotate the parts so they're in line, then slot the gantry hinge into the arrow T-shaped hole. That was step 11. Step 12 says slide the hinge forward, which we've done, and I'm guessing that allows us to lift up and down, up and down. See, that's pretty cool, isn't it? Obviously nothing was glued there, but that's ready for the next stage. I think that looks wicked. I really do like that. So I'm going to put that to one side now because that's that stage complete. Okay, next stage. We're going to be putting the frames in on the the pod 4 here. So the one that we want us to use is the ones with 3 frames in it. Okay, so stage 50. Step 1, we're going to be opening this up because we need these frame sections here. So let's get these open. I've already opened some of the other packs just to see what goodness we've got in there. But I'm going to keep all of these bits in here. Just I'm taking out the parts that I need, which are these frame sections here. And I do believe there should be somewhere in here. Yep, some screws. So I'll take the screws out. And I'll leave the other parts of the mole just in there for now. Okay, now these frames are numbered. So just on the edges here, you see this one's got a number 1. This one here's got a number 2 just down there. And this one here has got a number 3. Okay, so they're the parts we need, definitely. So we're doing something right. We're just going to open this screw pack because we're going to be putting these frames in. Get all the screws out. Excellent. Okay, so the first one is when we turn this upside down, these have also got numbers here. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. So we just match up numbers. That's all we're going to be doing. So I find the one with number 1 again, which is, oops, this one here. And the way these go, basically, they just slot into the side here. Let's just change my hand here. They're going to be slotting in the side and then hooking over the screw hole there. And then what we're going to do is grab our screwdriver, load it up, and put a screw just in that hole there. Just like that, we screw that in. So that was steps 1, 2, and 3, and 4 done. And we're going to repeat it now with number 2, which goes in the next one along. Just like that. And then push it down. Load the screwdriver up. Then put a screw in. Like that. This is absolutely no different to what we did with pod 3, just so you know. So that's that one in. And last but not least, we put now number 3, we've got 2 sides to secure this out. This will be stage, let me just have a look at my instructions. This will be up to stage 11. So we make sure it's in the right way again. We put the first one in, but this time we've got to be conscious of having a second one in just that side as well. So they're going to fit in just like that. And once again, we're going to put some screws in. Oh, load a screwdriver up. We'll put one side in first. Just like that. Oh, get a screw in there. I haven't screwed that all the way yet because I want to put one in the other side as well. And then I'll show you what that looks like for the other side. I'm going to use a different screwdriver for this because I want it to be really tight. So this is a slightly bigger screwdriver, this one. That one's in tight, and we're just going to do the same on this side. Just not happy how that screw went in. It was a little bit warped. That's why I've just amended it. There we go. And put that one in as well. Tighten the rest of these up. Need to make sure these are all tight because you don't want them wobbling around. But basically, there we go. That's the first lot of the frames completed, and that's that stage complete. And look, once again, I've got a spare screw. Yippee! Okay, we're going to be doing some work on just the mole casing now, which is this section. We've got 4 bits on this. We've got 2 sort of browny grey bits, a yellow bit, and obviously the big nozzle here. What we're going to be doing is we've got these 2 bits here. I'm just going to look to see they're slightly different. They're showing us in the picture. It says note the difference in size between the front and the back holes on the drill body. So on the drill body, this back hole here is slightly bigger than that one just there, and it's the same on the other side. So that's going to tell you what way these go round, because obviously you've got a bigger side and a smaller side. So we need to make sure we put these in the right side. It's just showing that on step 2. So step 3, it says fit one of the belts to one set of holes like this. Use glue on all of these parts, and then we're going to be doing this both sides. So let's dab a bit of glue. Probably best to put it actually in this unit here. So 1, 2. It's good that it can only go in one way because less chance for mistakes in. So put the first one in. That's the first one in. Do the same with the second one. making sure it's in the right way. And that's the second one in. Nice easy job, that one. Looking like that. It says make sure both parts are seated correctly and the level with the drill body in step 7. Yep, they definitely are. Let's move my screwdriver out of the way again. Looking just like that. Okay, step 8. We're going to put this little yellow bit section just on top here. It looks completely and utterly symmetrical. So it says just fit the slide guide here. Because it's symmetrical, it's not going to matter which way round it goes. I'm going to put a little dab of glue just in the middle of those 2 holes there. Just like that. And then we'll get this pushed in. Oh, that probably didn't need glue, to be honest with you, but that looks just like that. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so once we've done that, that's that stage complete. Now we're going to be going back to the main unit. I'm going to put that to one side, bring this over, and I've got this pack here now that we're going to be working from. Again, we've got some more frame section here. And we've got some screws. I'm just going to put that to one side for the other bits. And just mirroring exactly what we did last time, we're going to be matching the numbers on this up with the numbers here, which are 4, 5 and 6. So what we do is we find number 4, which is this one here. And once again, we're going to be putting these in exactly like we did before. Make sure they're in exactly the same way as before as well. As you can see, they go in the slot here and then over the number there. So we'll get this pack of screws open somehow. I've left my scissors downstairs today, so that's why I'm having to use this and just tear a bag apart to get the things out, which is why it takes forever to get these screws out, but these should all fall out lovely. Excellent. Let's chuck the rubbish away. Got my other screwdriver that I was using before. I want to keep using that because it's a good one for this. Load this up. Oh, dropped a screw. The other screwdriver is going to be tightening those things up, so I'll be using that later. So I'm just going to load the screw up, and then once again we put the first side in. Just putting it in loose for the minute until I get the other side in, just like that. And once again I'll put this loosely in first, and then that way I can tighten it up with my other screwdriver afterwards. Match number 5 up. Number 5 is only going to be secured on one side, just like that. Whoops. Whoops. And last but not least, number 6 is this one here. So we'll get that one in as well. It's hard to load up a screwdriver and keeping this way around as well, but these aren't in tight at the moment. But they're about to be, because now I get to use my other screwdriver here, which really puts them in hard. So 4 screws to do up, 2, 3, and the other side here, number 4. That is all of them done, and once again we've got another spare screw looking just like that. What do you think of that? That looks pretty cool, doesn't it? That basically takes us all the way up to stage 9, and stage 10 we're going to be putting this section just over the top. It is directional. It's just saying that the front has got basically 3 holes before the little tab, and it's quite narrow, the things are, and the backs, they're quite more spaced out, so that's the back. So the way it's going to be going is just this way here. So when this is on, this does actually get held on itself later on, but it just helps to line up all of these tabs when I push this on here. So we'll get the last one in. So it's going to be looking just like that. That's the top section on. That looks really good, doesn't it? And that's stage 14, step 14 done, step complete. So we're going to put that just to one side, because now we're going to be doing a little bit more work with a mole, and this is really going to make the thing pop now. So we'll break open these bits here that we've got. Nothing else in there. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. And the first pieces it wants us to use are these 2 blue bits here. What's going to be happening with these, it says we've got right and left markings on them. So I'm just having a look around to see where I can see those markings. There is one in here. That one says L. Hard to see, but it's actually inside there. Which means, by the process of elimination, yes, there's an R in there. It says glue the right tank to the right side of the mole's gantry. So we're going to bring over the mole. So what it wants us to do is take this unit off the gantry again, because we're going to be actually just putting these pieces now on the vehicle. You've got a right side and a left side. So these are labelled. Inside here, it does say either an L or an R. It's hard to see on the camera here. The one I'm holding here, just having a look myself, is the right one. So this is the one that we need. And this is basically going to be sitting in, if this is how this is looking here, the right one's going to be going on this side just over here. Just so you know, that is, when this sits in here, it's supposed to go in those holes, but it's really, really hard to get this plastic in the hole. So what I've done is I've actually taken the bottoms off of that, just so this can sit flush. So I'm going to just glue this, a little bit of glue there. Put a little bit of glue just on the base here as well. And then the way round this goes is this way round, just like this. Just going to press it in there. So it's basically going to look just like that there. And we're going to mirror it to the other side here. I don't know if the other one's going to go in. I'll check that now. If it doesn't, I'll do exactly the same thing. No, it's not going to. So I'm going to just trim the bottoms off and sand that down a little bit. I think the holes are just a little bit too big for the unit, but I don't normally have issues like that, but now I've trimmed that, I'm just going to get me a little emery board here. Let's give it a quick sand to make it flat, just like that. Excellent. Once again, I'm going to put some glue here and just some glue just on these points here and here. Then we'll get this down, down this as well. So that fits in perfectly. We've got that in on both sides now, so looks like that on that side there. And there we go on that side there as well. So that's those 2 bits in, looking absolutely perfectly. Well, once they're done, it wants us to put it back together again. So once again, we're going to be putting this in like this. Oh, let's show you on there. We're going to put this in this way, turn it, then feed the sprocket through. So again, once again, that's back on there again. So that's that section done there. We're going to be fitting the rear cover now to this bit that we had here. This is the rear cover here. This is going to be going into the 2 holes at the back, and it's going to be going this way round, so it looks just like that. So let's get some glue just on these points here. Probably just best to put some there. I'm going to put a little tiny bit in the middle just on this as well, like that. Get these bits down. Give it a good push. There we go. And that fits in perfectly like that. So we've got the rear fit in. Now we're going to be putting the drill base to the drill. That's basically going to be this section here is going to be going into that section just like that with the open end out like that. This is going to need glue in as well. Oh, this says without glue. So don't put glue in this. Without glue. Just keep it in like that. It says now join the drill to the drill body with a little glue. So we want a little glue. When this goes into the drill body, it's going to be going over the edge. So I'm going to put just some dabs of glue just around the edge here. Just a little glue, it says. I've probably put just a bit, just a lot. So we get that in just like that, push it in, and then that enables that to still turn, which is excellent. Now we're going to be, it says join the drill to the slot in the gantry via its slide guide. Then slide it along to fit neatly. Do not glue these parts. So basically we've got this little guide here, and that's going to be going into the top there. You can see that on that camera, slotting in just like that. So then that's going to be held in just like that. And that is the mold complete, and obviously it enables us to drill down if we wanted to, like that. Oops, hold that again, show you that. That's pretty cool, isn't it? That's the mold complete. That's really, really good. I like that one. Let's put a picture of that up on the screen. Actually, let's put loads of pictures up of this on the screen because I'm really happy with how that one looks. That is absolutely amazing. So I'm really enjoying pack 8 this is. I'm really enjoying pack 8. Okay, last pack now. We're going to be doing some details. So let's open this up. It's just some pod details for the end. What we'll do is we'll open this all up, get all the bits out. We've got some bits on a sprue there. So I'm going to cut them off, and then we'll glue all of these into place. So let's just tip all of them out. That looks good. Okay, so stage 1, we've got this section here, which is obviously the hatch entrance, and we're going to be putting this bit here, and we're going to glue this onto this section here. So, what we're going to do, I always just tap the edges here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, anything that I see a raised section, just to get all of these bits together, just like that. So we're going to glue this bit into here just like that, and give it a good press down. And while I'm just holding that, I'm just going to see how you guys are. Are you enjoying these videos? I don't think these ones are as long as the ones were before. This one has needed a lot of editing because obviously the electrics at the start and getting this thing up. But while I'm talking to you, as you can see, I'm taking these things off the sprues. These are really, really tight on there. And some of these bits on these sprues are really tiny. So you don't want to lose them. So once they're all off, got 2 bits on this one as well. Just get these bits off as well. I'm going to be checking for burrs, so we'll come back to that to make sure that there's no burrs, no bits of plastic that need filing down.
A few moments later.
Right, as you can see from this higgledy-piggledy mess here, I've opened all the sprues up, and I've also opened all the bags up. And we're going to try and follow this with the details that it tells me how we're going to do this. So step 4. The first detail goes in, so this detail here is going to be going into this slot just over here. And these are all going to be held in with a little touch of glue. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the pin there. And we'll get this in. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to need to put this in with tweezers. So hopefully I can do it so you can see. But once it's lined up, it will go in. There we go. And that's that bit in just like that. That's the first detail in. Right, the second detail is a really, really tiny one. That's this one. God, they get so tiny, don't they? Look, that's this one there. Can you see that? How tiny is that? Right, what I'm gonna have to do with this one, I'm definitely gonna have to just dab a bit of glue inside here. I think just a little bit, which we can do with this glue because it's very, very, very. It enables you to. I'm gonna be quiet while I do this. There we go, and that's that detail in there. That's the second one in. The third detail's a lot easier. It's going to be one of these long sections here. I'm just looking at the difference between them. It says make sure detail 8 goes in here. You select the parts as they look similar. So we can put them in exactly as we want to. I'm just going to see what the finished one looks like. The way they've got it though is them all facing the top. So it's nice that we get to select the parts. Thank you for that. Which means I can just dab some glue just in these bits here. And here, and then there's 2 of these to put in, so we put the first one in and they're going to look just like this. So we get the first one in just like that, and then the second one, just seeing how they've got that. The second one they've got going this way round, so it looks just like that. There we go, and that's those 2 details in up to step 8. Looking good. Right, step 9, we've got a little tiny sort of, God, what is it? It's like a silver buttony sort of thing, which is this thing here. It's going to go in this hole just up here. So I'll put some glue in there. I think after I've done each one, I'll show you what I've done. Now these, historically, are the things that I normally lose. So let's, oh, that one's got in perfect. So there you go. That's the little silver thing in. That was step 9 done. Step 10, we've got another little bit going on there. And that bit is a red thing. Little red sort of light, which is this thing here. Which I'm going to just put in now. Let's put a dab of glue just on the end there. Can you see what I mean about the detail on these things now? This is why I absolutely love this build. There we go, and that's the lighting, just like that. Next one is we've got a sort of this sort of frame thing here. It's going to follow the guidelines of this here. If you can see that on any of the cameras. So we're going to dab some glue into the pins on this one. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to hold this with my tweezers and then we'll get this in. Probably best on the top camera for this. There we go. And that's that piece in lovely, just like that. I'll show you again. I'll show you after every piece. Then we've got this black piece, which is like a control box. It's going to go in with the red little button facing up. Can you see that? It's going to be facing up. So we'll get some glue on that bit there. Get up there, perfect. Make sure we put it in the right way, just like so. That's that piece in. This glue really does bond really quickly. Then we've got another bit here, which is this bit, just like that. It doesn't matter which way around this one goes because it's absolutely square. So I'm going to just put some on the pin in the middle there, and we'll drop this on top. And that was step 15 done. Looking like that now. Step 16, we've got a little sort of like, well, it's this piece here, basically, this trapeze looking thing. And that's going to be going in just on top of this hole here. So a bit of glue just on there. And again, we can just drop that in. Should fit perfectly. Make sure it's straight, of course. There we go. Push it down when I've got it exactly as I want it. There we go. Just want to... There. Excellent. That's that piece in. Next one is stage 17, which is another little square. Same sort of colour as the one we had before. That's basically going to be going into this hole just down the bottom here. So I'll put some glue just around that hole. And then we'll drop this little square in. Which needs to just be moved around and then pushed down. Making sure it's straight. There we go. Looking like that. Pretty cool. Then we're going to be putting in the section in between here, which is like some ladders. And they're going to be going in, one going this way. Just seeing what we've got. The ladders have got little indents of them. So come in. So we want the one that's just got the 2 on. That's going to be going down here. So I'm going to put a little dab of glue just on these hole sections here. So when the actual thing goes into them, let's hold it with me tweezers here, and we'll get this in this side first. Without gluing myself. So that's the first lot of ladders in. We're going to do the same with the next ones, which go the other way. They just go along the top, push them down, and then that looks brilliant. That looks just like that. That was up to stage 19. Stage 20, we've got another black section here, which is this one over here. This is going to be going on here, facing this way round. So look, on the side camera, it's going to be facing that way round, just like that. So let's get this glued in. Bit of glue on the top there. Then we can push that down. Make sure it's straight. There we go. And that's stage 21 done. Right, stage 22. We've got a is it the bigger one? It's the bigger detail here. It's going to be going on to let's have a look where we are. Oh, we've already put this bigger. We should have already put this bigger detail on. We haven't done that yet, so I'm going to do that now. This bigger one here goes on this hole here, just like that. Not sure what number that was. Can't believe I missed that. But we're going to be putting the smaller one on, just on this little tiny one down the bottom here. Get that on there. Push it down. There we go. So that looks just like that. Then we've got detail 5, which is going underneath this, which looks a little bit like this one here. It's got a little tab on it, so I'm just seeing the tab goes towards this side. It actually follows the shape of the indent there, so we'll get some glue just on that bit there. There you go, that's that bit in perfectly like that. And then last but not least, we've got just this tiny piece. I don't know when I should have put it in, just on the top there. I've got a little tiny piece to put in. How have I missed those pieces? Sorry if that was out of order, but there you go. So I'm just going to pick up this piece here. And what I am going to do, so I don't drop it, I just want to get my file out, because it's got a little tiny burr on this, and that's going to bother me. There we go. Just check the other side. Little burr on the other side as well. Probably because this piece is so tiny. But I don't want to lose it, that's for sure. So I'll load this up with my tweezers. Oh, load it up the right way with my tweezers. And we're going to drop this in. There we go, and that piece is in. just like that at the top there, and that is complete. All we're left with now are just these little header screws here, and what we're going to be doing with that is we're going to be actually attaching this end to the bigger end of the vehicle. So I'm just going to lay that down, because the way to do this, step 28 is step 25, 26, 27 is we're going to be putting these bits here at an angle, so that sits in just like that. Then we can push it down by, it's not flush at the moment until I push this out, just like this, you see. And there we go, and then that's fit absolutely flush in there like that. We can close this door. It probably helps actually if we do close the door just like that, because now we're going to be securing this at the bottom. Now as you can see, we've got 2 screw holes here and here. Oh, I'll show you on the side camera. 2 screw holes here and here. What we're going to be doing is putting a little square washer in that, and we're going to be securing it with these 2 screws that I've got in this pack right here. Now from memory, this bit was blinking hard last time, so let's see how this goes. I'm just going to put the lid back on my glue now, because we're not going to be needing that. I'm going to get my magnetic screwdriver, and I think the way I did this last time was I loaded the screw up, then I actually put the screw through the washer, and then I secured the whole thing. I started it on here like that, there we go, and the washer slipped in. That's how I did it last time, and it worked again. How cool is that? So I'm going to make that nice and tight, and let's see if we can get away with that the second time. So I'm going to load that up, put the little washer in, then start it off and see how this goes. Oh look, we got away with it again. I made light work of that time. There we go, and that's the end on. So basically we've got the door which opens just like this. Bomb, bomb. If I turn this around, you can see what the pod looks like. And I think just with all the details and to add things to it to make it look really cool, let's go put the mole in there. It sits just like that. That looks really cool. That was pack 8 done. Loads of pictures to put on there, I'm sure. Let's show you some. Looks really good, doesn't it? So I am really happy with that. That was quite a nice build, and it was brilliant that we got to see the pod going up and down. So what did you think of that? That was absolutely amazing. You know what I've done? I've skipped forward a bit. God knows what pack I meant to do it, but I've just actually secured the front of the ship to the unit as well. So once again, we could just have another watch of it going up and down with almost 3/4 of the ship completed. Didn't that look good? I'm going to have to take the front off again now, but I just had to do that because it whet my appetite. If that's whet your appetite as well, then remember, you can go to this web address here. Just put that address into your web browser and sign up for this yourself. It's 12 packs and you can have that over 12 months or 24 months. And if you put in that discount code there, you'll get 5% off each pack. I hope you like that video. Pack 9 coming soon. Other than that, take care.